Google just launched a new vibe coding app that helps you build essentially anything. And it's built on top of world's #1 LLM model as of today, Gemini 2.5 Pro. The app is called Firebase Studio, and it's completely free. In today's video, we're going to be building a lead capture application with an autoresponder using Firebase Studio and n8n. All of this only using a few clicks, and it's incredibly simple. Let's dive right in. So the sample application that we want to build today is a sales lead capture application where prospects for a company come in, they'll fill out a form, and we'll send out an automatic autoresponder customized email based on the inquiry that they have. To get started, go to firebase.studio and click on the Get Started button. If you don't have an account, just accept the terms and continue. This is an area where you could prompt the app and you could tell it, what do you want to build? Just in normal conversational English. And once you've done that, based on your requirements, it's going to build an application. So let's go ahead and give it a prompt. So I've entered my prompt here. Essentially what I'm saying is that I want to build a lead capture form for a B2B SaaS platform. And I've completely described what my requirements are. I want the page to have a dark, modern, glassy look. And it should have the following elements: name, email address, phone number, a text area for general inquiry questions, a drop-down titled, How did you hear about us? And then finally a submit button. Let's see how that goes. And all you have to do is just hit prototype with AI. Great. So what has happened here is that it has taken my requirements and it has come up with a plan. First of all, it summarizes what my app should do. It took my requirements and it gave a summary. It's going to be a lead capture form. And it's going to have all the elements. So what I could do here is I could give it more prompts here, which is describe the changes you want to make in this text form here and keep on kind of prompting it. Or I could click on this customize button here. And here I could add a lot more customization directly without prompting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name here. I'm going to call it lead Zen form. But overall, everything else looks good to me, and I'm going to hit save. Let's see how that works. So it took my input, and now it is asking me whether I want to continue. You just hit prototype this app. So now it's actually writing code, and it's building out this application in real time. Very cool. It's actually pretty fast. I like that. Sometimes it gets stuck in an error. So you just hit try again and let's see what happens. Great. So now it's done building the form and boom, right there. It's pretty cool. Let's try this form out. I'm just going to hit submit without any fields. Great. So this is a required field. I filled out the form and let's see what happens. Because there is no form action, I'm just going to go ahead and submit it. Okay, it's not going to do anything. So now we're going to take this information and we're going to pass it on to n8n. First, let's create a trigger. What we want to do here is we want to create a webhook trigger where once the form is submitted, we'll use the webhook to send the form data to this location. And we want to use a HTTP post method. That's the method that we use to submit forms. Right now, there are two options, test URL, or production URL. I'm just going to go ahead and work with the test URL. I'm going to copy this URL and come back to Firebase Studio. And I'm going to tell Firebase Studio to use that URL upon form submission. So let's go ahead and prompt Firebase Studio here. Okay, I have entered the prompt here, which says, once the form is submitted, send the form via HTTP post to this URL. This is the URL that I got from the n8n test instance. So once I have this, let's go ahead and tell it to update our form. Cool. So now it looks like it has updated that form. It's updated the page.tsx. So let's try it out. Looks like data is coming from the form. It got all of my information right here, my name, email address, phone number, inquiry, and how did you hear about us? So this is fantastic. So we want to do something with this data. We want to take this data and send an email. So in order to do that, let's add an AI agent that'll do that for us. So let's add an AI agent. And we want to configure this AI agent to take all the form elements that we've given and process them. So I have created a prompt here that reads or pulls in the form data from here, from the left, from the input. You just pull in JSON body data, and you're referencing this submitted form data from the previous webhook. So if you remember, in the canvas, we have the webhook, and then we go into the AI agent. So I have pulled that in. Now, basically, I'm saying, write a reply to the following email with, this is the sales lead inquiry email, and we're replying an autoresponder to that. So how do we do that? You can do that by system message. Within the system message, you could give a lot more context to the prompt and tell it to understand the form data and to respond accordingly. So let's go ahead and do that. So I've filled the system message. What this says is that you are an AI assistant specializing in replying to incoming sales leads. And now you have to understand that data and send them an email asking them to schedule a meeting using my Calendly link. I've also given the system a sample message. And in order for this system to understand it, we're going to have to connect it to a chat GPT model. That's what I've done here. You basically add a new mode. And next, you want to connect to some sort of a email sender tool. And I want to use Gmail in this case. So let's go ahead and connect Gmail. And here I have configured it to say that send a message. Resource type is of the type message. There are a lot of other things. You could even create a draft or add labels or respond to an email thread within your Gmail connected account. I'm just saying that's create a message and just send it. That's what I'm asking it to do right now. There are other fields here that I'm saying the to sender should be taken from this parameter called from AI. Essentially, it's taking whatever response it gets from ChatGPT and it composes the email here. So we're saying from ChatGPT, whatever the to field you get, just add it here. Same with the subject and the message. So let's see how this works. Let's try and submit the form. I should be getting an email. I am a new sales prospect. I'm filling out this inquiry form and I should get an autoresponder email. Looks like we got an email. Let's take a look. Great. Awesome. This is an email purely generated by n8n as a response to the form that I filled. I gave my email address, I filled out my form, and now n8n created this message and included my Calendly link. This is really cool. Now, I want to make the emails a bit more dynamic. What I want to do is if a prospect asks for a price, then I want to say, the price of the product is $99. So that's what I've done here. In the capabilities and limitations section, I have included this guidance here to our agent. If the prospect asks for a price, quote them $99. And now let's see how this thing behaves. So I filled out the form here, and in the general inquiry now, I am asking how much does it cost? It's just natural language. I'm just asking how much does it cost? And I expect the system to read this message, understand the context, and let's see if it returns the price of $99. Let's try it out. Let's submit the form. Looks like we got a new email. The subject line is interesting and it's unique. It's regarding inquiry about your product. And there you go. Voila. The cost is $99. That's really cool. The agent read the message, understood the context, and now it's responding with the price. Awesome. I love it. Next, you might have noticed that every time we submit the form, it just hangs. You do not get a confirmation message. You don't see that the form was submitted and what the next steps are. So I want to change that. What I want to do is after the email is sent by the agent, I want the form to display a success message. So let's get into it. In order to do what we just talked about, which is showing a thank you message, what we want to do here is once the agent is finished sending the email, we want to send a message back to Firebase saying that the webhook is completed. Now show the message. One way to do that is we want to include a response webhook. There is a standard webhook trigger, but there is also a new thing called response webhook. And in the response webhook, I'm going to say respond with an empty body. So we don't want to send any data, but we will simply send out a 200 success HTTP response code. That's all we're going to do. And we're going to link this respond webhook to the original webhook. all you have to do is just double click it, and instead of saying respond immediately, you want to select this using respond to webhook node. So let's select that, and back to Canvas. Let's save that. And now let's activate it, and let's test our flow. There is one quick thing we need to do in Firebase Studio. We need to come back and we need to instruct Firebase Studio to display a thank you message once you receive a 200 success message from the web. And I'm going to ask it to rebuild the entire form. So now it's done rebuilding the entire form. I'm going to fill out the form details, and let's try it out. Now let's hit the submit button. Beautiful. There you go. Enter your details. Thank you for reaching out. We'll be in touch shortly. Hit OK. It takes you back to the form. This is really cool. So that's it. That's my demo of Firebase Studio along with n8n. I think these two tools are very powerful together. I think Firebase Studio is still a new tool. I got to play around a lot more, and I'm going to put more videos out doing an in-depth review of feature by feature of Firebase Studio. Thank you. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.